A poem to the people of future NYC. Cars may be hovering over you at this very moment. Holograms may be popping out of buildings. It might very well be possible that you can teleport, but the buildings are just as tall as they are now, here. Men and women hustle and bustle to their next destination, dressed in button-down suits, dress shoes, and other forms of business attire. Carriages are occupied by babies. Toddlers cry for their bottle. The trains rattle back and forth. The babysitters pray to God the stroller lock works. The city never goes to sleep. Bars are open, with latecomers stopping by to find a potential lover for the night. The fluorescence of the timeless square never go out. They are watching. They guard our beloved city, pushing and shoving, shoving and pushing. Tourists stop the flow of sidewalk traffic to look up at the pretty eyes watching over the city. They take pictures of every building they come across, even if it is under construction. You still get annoyed by them. Don't deny it. Tourists, consumed with magic, of wonder, stare wide-eyed at the starless, illuminated sky that beholds the promise of hope and greatness. Our wondrous city still beholds that promise like it did years ago, before your lifetime, before my lifetime, and before the lifetimes to come. That was Poet Tidbit number 1, ladies and gentlemen, and those who have yet to make up their mind. I like to quote Kinky Boots too much. Morning walks to the train station. An aisle of trees awaits me every morning. Tree upon tree upon tree, they surround me with holy, nesty faces, observing and judging every step I take. In the winter, they are most brutal. Bitter, their branches are bare. Spring is when optimism comes, full of life and bloom and vibrant color. They seem to like me. Don't let them fool you, though. They are green with envy. Summer. Nothing changes except the temperature boiling their thoughts to bubbles. Pop. It's too late. Fall has come. They are burned red and orange and yellow. If they are lucky enough, they are baked to a crispy golden brown, but their natural fate awaits. The tree's minions fall to the ground out of one last attempt at ridicule. This is my chance to step on them. Crunch. They've become pieces for the earth to eat up. Defeated, but the roots are still there, full of their malicious livelihood. The trees in the aisle are waiting for the cycle to start again so they can pounce their judgy, holy, nesty faces again and again and again. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Sweet Madness Podcast. My name is Amanda Montoni. I am your host. And today, just like every episode here, it's a very special one because, why not make everything as special as you possibly can make it? I have two guests here today with me. They picked the poem Tidbits. And those poems were from my first ever published book, Trains, New York, and the Love or Lack Thereof that goes along with them. Yes, it's a long, quirky title, and I am a short, quirky person. So, my first, one of the first people that you heard is originally from Brooklyn and a long-time Long Islander. He's an educator and multiple award-winning poet with recent honors and received from the City of Tucson's Festival of Books for a mini poetry collection and the Village of Great Neck Plaza's, New York, right here in New York, annual poetry contest. His poetry and flash fiction have appeared within many anthologies and literary journals. The second guest, she is a poet laureate emerita of Nassau County, Long Island, New York, from 2022 to 2024. As the founder of the Acoustic Poets Network, LLC, she has produced 3 audio CDs. She co-hosts and produces the Hicksville Open Mic, which I've been to. Thank you for having that. And she also hosts the Poetry It's a Sure Thing, Sure Poets Open Mic in Long Beach. I go there regularly. It's such a fun time. We have clappers and everything, guys. If you love poetry, go there and check it out. And she moderates a classic poetry discussion group in Port Washington, New York. She is the poet in residence at WRHU, and for the past 20 plus years, she has hosted and produced the award-winning Calliope's Corner, the place where poets and songwriters meet, and What's the Buzz on WRHU 88.7 FM. She is a poet correspondent for The Scene magazine. The Scene.life, a magazine highlighting the open mic scene on Long Island from the Bridges to the Forks. She is also a Journal to the Self certified journal writing instructor, facilitating free verse introspective writing workshops in the New York, Long Island area. Everybody, please welcome with me in spirit. If you're driving, please don't clap. Robert Windorf and Paula Curci. Yay! Clapping, clapping, clapping. I am so excited you guys are here. This is amazing. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And your energy is amazing.
Thank you. So are yours. That's why you're here.
All right.
So on the Sweet Madness podcast, I ask all of my guests this very pivotal and vital question, because it could pivot any way in which you decide. What does Sweet Madness mean to you? What is your definition? How do you interpret Sweet Madness?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting us.
You're welcome.
This is a thrill. Sweet Madness is like an oxymoron in a way. Madness can be interpreted in many ways. You can, say, go to Roosevelt Field at the holiday times.
Oh.
And that's madness.
Yes.
I can't get a parking spot.
Right?
Yep.
And then there's the madness of forgetting to pay the electric bill, and everything in between. Bad humidity is madness. So we interpret madness in many, many ways. I sent you a text
did.
yesterday of a line I've been working with regard to madness, and I wrote, amidst the madness, sweetness always prevails.
That's beautiful.
That came to me, I think, in a dream.
Oh, wow.
Now, Paula has heard this before. Many ideas for my creative writing works come in dreams. Maybe I remember it the next morning, or it comes to me when I'm driving on the highway, 2 days later, where you definitely see a lot of madness.
Oh, the highway.
And the trains.
And the trains. And New York.
the trains, and the planes, and the street sweepers, everything. But one thing that, with regard to sweetness, that I want to share, which just by chance I happened to see on social media about 6 months ago. There's a terrific American poet, very famous, by the name of Henri Cole. And one of his best friends was the late Nobel Prize winner from 2 years ago, Louise Glick. And if you go to, I'm not sure if it's still on what used to be Twitter, now X, but it might have, the posting may have migrated over to Blue Sky, where I am. You see a photograph that Henri, took of literally on a hotel napkin, I believe from the Hilton chain, of Louise writing the following. I'll let Paula read it.
Life is short, padded with sweetness.
Oh, I love that.
Great quote.
Padded with sweetness. Yes, absolutely.
So you can add a little sugar to the mixture any way you choose.
Like some people add sugar to their tomato sauce.
Well, that's another story for another time. But we come back and talk about culinary
It's
arts.
gravy. For some people, it's gravy.
Oh, no. Paula, are we going to get into
Sauce
a gravy versus
Oh, brother. All right.
That's okay. I came from a household that said both. So, so Sweet Madness. What is your Sweet Madness story? How can you personalize that to you?
Well, what I've done, and thanks again for the opportunity, I brought in a few poems to share with everybody. where I would say it's a reflection of the sweetness amidst the madness.
Okay.
And if you'll indulge me for a moment, I just want to describe where the idea for this poem came from, the first one I'm going to read to you. There's a terrific literary journal out in L.A. by the name of Rattle. And every month, if you go to their website, they have a fantastic prompt as an aphractic challenge. Oh. And I have responded several times to the image, whether it be a drawing, a painting, cartoon. Haven't won yet, but but I've received tremendous inspiration, and many of the aphractic prompts that I've responded to and have written a poem about have either won awards or have been published elsewhere. So lucky me.
Beautiful.
So if you can just picture for a moment a drawing of a cabin in the woods surrounded by snow and a heart on the door of the cabin. So I call this Hearts Waiting at the Door. And this was published a couple of years ago. Hearts Waiting at the Door. While I've been away from my ordinary life, my dreams have been full of days that repeatedly dissolve in accord with perpetual calendars, affixed to fir trees I trod past in this forest, silently, except for the labored crunching from my tired boots, never forgetting my origin among the hills and dales where the trees have guided me. I remember those who await my return, and I hope their forgiving hearts will be waiting at the door on that day. Thank you.
Yeah. Man.
I love it. I have two thoughts right away. Of course, it was very Robert Frostian to me, in the sense that, of course, you have this snowy, wooded area. But I also thought how apropos that he chose that one to read for you today, because, you know, the whole icon of the heart is part of your
that's my
design.
That's
your branding.
My logo. Yeah.
So cool.
That. Yeah, it's all connected. And just reading that, I connected a lot of different emotions and flashes in time from my own personal life. And what hit me the road, I hope their forgiving hearts will be waiting at the door on that day. The way the poem ends just hits me right in the heart, no pun intended. But it has me thinking about, you know, the kind of person I want to be. And I hope that people will be with certain things, whether it be through friendships, with conflicts, and, you know, kind of straying from friends that you've known for a long time or family members, and just having the open-heartedness by opening that door and being here saying, I forgive you, because it's almost like a weight off of shoulders in a sense, and just that release. And yeah, I hope their forgiving hearts will be waiting at the door on that day. Yeah, it just makes me think of the world and how people connect to each other. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm gonna cry. Robert. Lovely, Robert. Lovely.
Thanks.
Thank you. Paula, I'm refraining from calling you Miss Curci. Sorry. Paula. That's another story for another time. Paula, what does sweet madness mean to you? What is your personal definition of sweet madness?
Well, I did not have to think too long about what came to mind immediately when you asked me to think about that. I thought of bittersweet life requirements and moments. Things that are clearly hard to do, yet from those hard things comes some sense of joy or some sense of renewal. And for me, that bittersweet experience immediately went toward my relationship with my mother while she was going through her stages of Alzheimer's.
Oh.
So that was my bittersweet moment, and how we all have these times in our life that are so difficult. Yet from those difficult times, something magical happens.
Yep.
Something beautiful happens. So that's where Sweet Madness came directly to the frontal thought for me.
Yeah. I can somewhat so my book Thoughts While Singing is where kind of like this concept of me being full of sweet madness came from. And one of my poems is quite literally the last conversation I had with my grandmother, Barbara. She also, I don't know if she had a lot of things wrong with her by the end of her life. I'm not sure if she was actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's, but she couldn't see. She didn't know what age I was. And I was in a production of The King and I at the time. And The King and I, it was a full circle moment. And because she's the reason why I got into theater. She would play The King and I all the time on the radio when I was a kid. I'd be watching Gigi like on like her old videotapes and The Sound of Music.
So she was pivotal.
She was pivotal. Like she's quite literally the reason why I like theater. She provided it for me, but I was on a hiatus for this production of The King and I. We had 2 different runs in 2 different locations, and we got the first location filmed. Then I got the DVD. I went over to her apartment to show it to her. Even though she couldn't watch it, she could hear it. And, I skipped to the parts that I was on because she couldn't concentrate for that long. And as I was saying goodbye to her, I somehow felt this air that I knew it was the last time I was going to see her. And the fact that I was in a production of The King and I, and that's how it all started, was just this full circle moment. But it was sad, but also sweet, because the poem in the book goes, "The perfect goodbye. Bye, Grandma. I love you. Goodbye, baby doll. I love you too." And I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. And so I relate to, with your mom, how this such sad moment, but there's also a sweetness to it, and it's magical, like you said. And then the second run happened, and she passed away on a run. Yeah. And I had the day of her funeral. I had the day of her wakes. I had a show, and then on the day of her funeral, I had a show, and I had to perform. There was no understudy.
Well, she was with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway.
Oh, she was.
Oh, yeah.
She was there.
I
no
went.
question.
The day of her funeral, when I performed, I was waiting for my curtain call, and I just felt like hands on my shoulder. It was really weird. I never really had one of those experiences before, or really kind of believed in them. And all of a sudden I just felt like a presence on my shoulders, and it wasn't just my grandma. It was also my grandpa Al, which was her husband, who passed away when I was 9. He wasn't a theater guy, but he was always the one being like, "Okay, Amanda Puzzolanda, you ready to go to dance class?" And then back, he would do a little dance with his booty, be like, "How'd you do in dance class?"
Well, he was there to escort your grandmother.
Yes,
absolutely. They always have people waiting for them.
Yeah.
To escort them and share time with them on the way.
It was such a surreal experience, and I couldn't help but sob as I went onto the stage. It was great. Yeah. But I digress. I went on a tangent there.
No, it's important because what you're talking about is, a whole level of understanding the journey that people go through when they are on their passing journey, because it starts not when they are physically gone from you.
Yeah.
It starts while they are having this transition of cognition. So I truly believe that that's what I've learned from my mom. My mom began, having dementia. Dementia is the umbrella. Alzheimer's is a specific form of dementia. And 4.4 million women in the United States have dementia today, 65 and older. So what happened with my mom and I is that the relationship that I had with my mother became a different relationship, became a different thing altogether. This was a woman and I was a woman having a relationship with this woman, not with my mom, not with mommy,
Right.
with this elderly woman who was sweet and who was going through this form of madness. And it was so difficult as a caretaker to watch her go through that. I can remember the very first time I realized something was different. It was her birthday, and she and I were having dinner together, and in a restaurant. And she said to me, well, out of nowhere, "So, what was your father's name?"
Oh.
And I, with a straight face, said his name. And then a second later, she put her hand across the table, grabbed my hand, and said, "I'm so sorry, honey. I'm so sorry." Oh. Because she knew she was going through this flip-flop of memory. And that's what happens to people with Alzheimer's. They don't, it's not something that, isn't it wonderful? They lost their memory and they don't have to worry anymore. No, it's not like that.
No. You know that something is up with your brain.
And the recognition to know that you just lost a piece of important information. And of course, then are all the other symptoms that are well known that Alzheimer's people go through. You know, the anger, the frustration, the loss of time, the loss of ability to write, all these other functions that happen. I just think in the United States, though, we're not prepared. We're not prepared for this tsunami that we are in future going to be dealing with, because the baby boomers are the baby boomers. We've got a huge population of people in the United States that are going through this, and it's women. 2.8, I think it's 2.8 male, 4.4 female. 7.2 million people in the United States that have Alzheimer's right now as we speak. So, and I know a lot about this because the sweet part of it is that my colleagues and I, we did a project about it, the female face of Alzheimer's. And we won an award, Breast Club of Long Island Award. We won a Gracie for it.
Beautiful.
So it was a lot of work to realize how much caregivers, too. The caregivers are women.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And how many women are out there taking care of their mothers and losing their free time, right? What a burden. But during that whole time, there's this reconnection and growth and understanding of what life's all about, and the journey, the death journey. The death journey is a real thing, and we don't talk about that enough.
No, we don't. I'm happy I'm not happy that we're talking about it now, but I'm happy that we're talking about it now. We're bringing awareness to it by having this conversation.
Yeah.
And whoever's listening, I hope that they find solace in just this conversation alone.
Yeah.
That they know that other people out there are going through similar problems, and if they didn't even realize it yet.
Yeah. To have the cognition of understanding the phases of life. We talk about teens a lot.
We do. We do.
Robert and I, both educators working in schools, we're working and dealing with the youth population all the time, and we know a lot about the youth development in our culture. But in our culture, we don't talk about senior development, what happens after a certain age.
Yeah.
And we should be talking more about it.
Yeah, we definitely should. To further on with the conversation, and not to get away from this topic because I think it's very, very important, but do you have a poem that you would like to read?
Gee, I have so many poems.
Would you say your mom
you said there was one related to your mother.
Yes.
Well, I just want to share. I've done a caught myself up on this topic a lot about, ageism and, how do we look at ourselves and when we get older and wouldn't it be nice? Hey, listen, all of us have done this. You take a picture of yourself when you were a kid, and then you go back and you look at that picture and you say, "Oh, I wasn't so bad looking," right? Yeah. But when you were that age, you say to yourself, "Oh my God, that's not right. I shouldn't. Can I edit that?"
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
I do it all the time.
And when you look back at yourself, you say, "Wow, I wish I had the self-esteem then, right? I wish I had the confidence, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so this piece is called The Power of Poetry. I've come to terms as it burns with the earlier version of myself. My melody rings and returns as my rescuer and my wealth. I laid hidden in my youth, was somewhere there the power of poetry thinking. I journaled the power of poetry while my older self was winking. As I sat in the recording booth, I rode the wave and the beat. I was the urban poet that came from the street. I recall the time it took to rise through the drama, the recognition, now belated, through the memories of the past, retracing moments that had faded, all returning in the hum of a thought, from pieces of the past evaded, to find a place here where I am the only one debated. Through my own delicate view, I disclose the balance of the truth and how far the poem will go, to be or not to be, in sooth. I kind of realized, too, that part of that is, how far do you go in telling the truth when you write a poem?
Yeah.
Also, how far do you tell a piece of yourself when you're journaling about yourself and you're writing about yourself? But,
well, is it written for us or is it written for you?
That is a question.
Right. Well, I think now it's on the page. It's in the book, so it's written for someone to read. But originally, it was written for me because it was a journal piece, right? It's a journaling awareness tool to kind of learn from myself.
But it's also an accomplishment that you can refer to it and say, I did it. I put it out there. Not so much for us to read, but for you to appreciate what it looks like. So it moves from here to here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's very healing.
It's very healing. And then for someone to read it on the page and say, oh, wow, that's something I could look into myself about. I can recognize that about myself.
Yeah, and kind of make fun of yourself in a good way by the way you started off. How you moved.
Yeah.
You moved from this person to that person.
Yeah.
Bravo. Good for you.
Yeah.
What I'm noticing is that I'm very aware of my movement. So that poem sparked what I've been writing lately and how I've been overly kind of aware of these transitions of life in an effort to be more present. But in an effort to be more present, I'm diving deeper into the past and discovering things about myself that I've never faced before and discovering new truths that come out when I start to write. But with me, it either comes out blunt, like, yes, this is the thing, or it's layered in through metaphor and like dancing around the blunt sentence or the blunt words. Yeah, it's just very interesting. I found myself more present and aware that life is constantly transitioning and on the move, and very aware of where I was yesterday compared to today. One of my favorite quotes is from Alice in Wonderland. I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Thank you, Lewis Carroll.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Yes, it's one of my favorite quotes, which I should get tattooed on me. Instead, I chose the one that says, "We're all mad here," and it's in the shape of the Cheshire Cat smile.
Well, listen, you have another arm.
I do. I do have another arm. I have a leg. I just have one leg, guys. Sorry. But yeah, that I resonate. That's how I relate to your to your poem right there, how Robert was saying, like
cool.
someone else can read it. And that's what it's all about, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah. Being there for someone and having them realize that they're not alone in feeling what they're feeling. Beautiful, beautiful.
And that's why this Sweet Madness show is so awesome.
Thank you.
Because that's really
Thank
what
you.
you're trying to do. You're trying to,
Yeah.
you know, as we are here today talking, trying to open up a window for people who want to listen to
Yeah, absolutely.
alternative ways of thinking.
Yeah, alternative ways. It's just like something new, you know, and just being there for people who need it in the way that I can. That's another thing. Learning to show up in the way I can, not the way that I'm expected to or pushed to, because that might not fit how I can help.
If I may,
Go ahead,
tell you
please.
a story about. You know, I'm switching hats now.
Okay.
Putting the counselor hat on.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Maybe my portrait poetry is counseling and poetry, but my putting my counselor hat on. So years ago, I had a student, and he sat with me, and we were talking about his mom and how he didn't feel, connected to his mom, and his mom came from another country, and they were not well off in this other country, and she had to work diligently to allow herself to get to the United States and then to be able to afford to have children and to afford to provide a home and provide stability for him. And we, talked about all that. And ultimately I said, can you do me a favor? Can you go get that book on the shelf over there for me? No problem. Grab the book. I said, no, not that book. The book on the upper shelf. Well, I have to step on the chair for that. Do you mind? No, I don't mind. Steps on the chair for that. And then I said, that's not the right book. I think the book I needed was that one up there on the third shelf. And he said, but Miss Curci, I have to go get a ladder for that. And I said, don't do that. That's okay. I don't want you to hurt yourself getting a ladder. But, isn't that what your mom had to do?
Oh, Miss Curci hitting it hard. Yep.
So, some people, just to answer, what you were just
Yeah.
saying, some people can only reach so far.
Yeah.
Some people can only build the steps for themselves so far. And
Right.
we have to accept that that's where they are and meet them where
Yes.
they're at.
Meet them where they're at. Exactly. I spent so many years not meeting myself where I was at. Therefore, I was chameleoning in order to help other people when instead of that didn't help me. So there was no way I could help them because I wasn't helping me. It's all a full cycle. Now, I want to know, we have a couple minutes left. I want to know your Sweet Madness story. How did you guys meet? How did you end up working together? I want to know this
Sure.
story.
Robert will go for it.
Okay.
If I may,
Yes.
I'm busting to recite this
Please recite it.
because it's very apropos.
Okay, let's
This
go.
is brand new. It's about 3 weeks old. It's this poem, and I've sent it out already to hopefully be published in a couple of places. As what you just mentioned, Amanda, the present.
The present. Let's go, guys. We're listening to a brand new poem.
The present. No need to berate the past or curse an uncertain future. Instead, be thankful for what sits in the palm of your hand, especially during this precious moment.
I love that. Thank you for handing me the paper. Really, no need to berate. That word hit a very personal string. The past or curse the uncertain future. Hello, anxiety. It's nice to see you today. Instead, be thankful for what sits in the palm of your hand. Right now, it's sitting here with you guys, especially during this precious moment. It is precious.
It's
It's
a
very
present, and it's within the present.
Oh my gosh. Every day is a gift, guys. I love that. I love that.
So, one sentence.
One sentence.
This is what I learned from, I was
love
very
that.
fortunate many years ago. I took some workshops with Mark Strand, a very, very famous poet And the one thing myself and the other folks gained from him was the economy of language, and to try to present an idea or describing an emotion like you just did, Amanda, that maybe we haven't done before. This just came to me because like everybody else, I was having kind of a bad day. And as you just mentioned, the word you keyed in on, berate, which is not something you normally use, but it came to me. So I had to immediately put it on a Post-it note. And then when I got home, bingo, one sentence, there we are.
Love it.
So, and I just couldn't I had to call it the present, being in the palm of your hand, to recognize that this precious moment is a gift and be thankful for it.
Yeah.
Amidst the madness.
Amidst the madness. And the fact that it came to you is a gift itself.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, we came, in a way, serendipitously
tell me your story.
years ago, many years ago. I've been very fortunate to have 3 careers. I started in international finance, and then I was in nonprofit management, being the manager director of a hunger and poverty charity created by Harry Chapin. And as part of that job, I was the organization's co-representative at the United Nations.
Wow.
And then I went to education full-time, which is another story for another day. So while I was in education as an English teacher, I got all these great ideas to start writing again. And that's where I met Paula. I just went to various Long Island poet gatherings, and this was about 20 years ago, believe it or not. Then I had to step away for the scene of poetry, mainly because my parents became simultaneously terminally ill.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was in a doctoral program.
Oh, what timing of madness.
So actually writing and sitting to write creatively was always kept up here, but never had the chance to put the pen on the paper. Then when my parents passed away and I needed some space for me, aside from writing my dissertation, that's where the poetry and the short stories came back to me. So I re-entered the scene. And Paula says, I think I remember you from years ago. Yeah, it's me. I have gray hair now.
And what happened was we had an open mic at Hofstra through the radio station. And at that open mic, we invited students and the community to get together. So it was multicultural and age-wise too, intergenerational.
Love that.
Which was cool and really well attended.
Yeah, it was a nice event.
He came, and we did a little bit of I think we did a raffle.
Yeah.
And he won the raffle to get on the radio and read your poem.
Amazing.
So what happened was, but you couldn't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it that evening.
You couldn't do it that evening.
No. Right, so I took a rain check.
Right. So there was always this rain check that we're going to do it. So finally we have, we did.
Well, we're doing it here.
And we're doing it here.
Yeah.
And we've done another show together. We put together a show called Poems from People Like You, and we read
one of them.
Yes.
And we read, that's right.
And I listened.
Yeah.
Do you want me to tell you what the 4-letter word was?
Yes.
Hope itself.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Why do you think I capitalized it in the text?
For our listeners,
I was like,
the poem
they think
does
I'm
not reveal the word. And Paula and I
we're like, well,
were
we feel
wondering
you.
what the word was.
Yeah.
I was like, they think I'm thinking.
It was a great poem.
That's exactly what the radio program was all about, was hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, they think I'm thinking about something dirty.
No.
Because that's not, well, that could be.
4-letter
That's another show for another time, folks. Tune in on another network.
I listened to it. I was like, I don't think they realize I'm actually talking about. That's so.
Hey, it got out
so
there.
great. It did, and it was great hearing you guys recite it. It was really, really, really
And
cool.
I even did one poem in Spanish.
Yes,
you did.
Yeah.
Yes, it was really cool. It's like, it's sort of like looking at someone reading your book in front of you. And then like they're reacting while they're reading.
And hearing other people's perception or paradigm of what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Which kind of flips back to, what we were talking about before.
Right. And one of the major lessons I learned in college from my poetry professors was that poetry that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be up for interpretation and be something for people. One aspect of it. Not only for you, but for other people. And it can take on any meaning. And that's when you know you've done your job, because different people interpret it different ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's just so fascinating, because then you get really the scope of so many different perspectives and how people think and how people feel and how they're feeling and how it relates to them. And yeah. I just love that. I'm fangirling about it right now. That's why I'm losing words.
It's worth fanning over.
It's worth fanning over. I love it. So where can listeners find you?
Well,
on the interwebs?
Yeah, on the interwebs. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. So on Facebook, I have a few handles. Corner Calliope, so you could corner my show, Calliope's Corner. So it's Corner Calliope's with S. And then Paula Curci. Just
love it.
Google me.
Do a little Paula Curci search.
Yeah.
Oh no, the mic is okay. It's okay. And Robert, where can people find you on the internet?
I occasionally make postings on Blue Sky.
Okay.
I have to get back into that.
Yeah.
Into that. May I help you close the show with this poem?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bit romantic.
Okay. I'm just going to hit a couple of points before we go into that, because I would love it to end right on the poem. Because you know what? If it's a romantic poem, they deserve to feel a little love, right? Yeah. So thank you guys for being here before we close out.
Thank
And for everybody listening, if you have any questions for the Sweet Meadows podcast, if you have any stories of, your own experience with family members or people you have experienced the death journey with, please reach out to me on Instagram. You can DM me at amanda.montoni. You can send me an email, amanda@amandamontoni.com. And don't forget, if you would like a personalized poem and you're not really sure how to get your story out, please, please, please don't hesitate to go to my website. There's a little tab right on the top that says get your free personalized poem. It's at no cost. I do this out of my heart's calling. This is what I like to do. Your story is safe with me. None of the poems I write for you guys are published anywhere. This is strictly for you. And also, if you want it handwritten and like framed and looking all nice, I can do that too. So make sure to follow me on Instagram and check out my website. And then also, I hope you come back here to the Sweet Meadows podcast. And on that note, Robert is going to sign us off with a little love poem.
Yeah, thank you. This idea came to me from listening to some Cuban jazz music.
Ooh, I like that.
On the way home in the car. And I'm very happy to say that it was chosen by the San Diego Literary Festival last year as one of their honored poems.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So put yourself in Old Town Havana. Here we go. Before sunset. Before sunset. I awoke from an afternoon nap, sitting on a couch with my feet on a tattered ottoman at the back of this old cafe that faces the sea. A lime drink nearby. Children happily chased a worn football down the semi-paved street as a cage of green parrots slept in the corner of the room. My watch showed 4, but I sensed it was much later. Ulia then came for me. Her cousins were expecting us before 8. A few presents still needed to be wrapped, and we'd promised to dance on the patio under the backyard mango tree, before the last sparkles of sunlight jumped off the waves on the darkening horizon.